Jai Baba to you each dear ones, Baba's dear, very, very dear children. Jai Baba. My mother took us to Sakori to see Upasni Maharaj. My mother had not told us about Baba. She used to see Baba in Pune, just not too often. My mother used to go with her sister, that is my aunt, who is Padri's mother. And Baba used to come to Pune, and very seldom my mother met him, once or twice. One day when sitting with the other devotees, they were all with Baba, seated around Baba. The darshan was over and Baba told everybody to leave as it was getting late. They all left and Baba turned around to see that my mother and my aunt were still sitting near him. So he turned around and asked my mother, "Is there anything you want to ask me or say to me?" My mother was a bit surprised and she was a bit surprised because she did not expect Baba to ask her like that. So she started to think, and she remembered that her older daughter is not feeling well, and she did not know what was ailing her. So she asked Baba that what she should do about this. So Baba said, take her to Udwara. Udwara is a pilgrimage place for the Parsis. A very big fire temple is there, and it's a pilgrimage place for the Parsis. So my mother was also very surprised because Baba did not prescribe any medicine or give her any idea to take her daughter to a doctor or anything. Just take her to Udwara. So my mother did not ask Baba, I did not say, she did not hesitate to say, she did not question Baba, but said, "All right, Baba," and she wanted to obey him. And though in her mind she felt that how is the daughter going to get all right just going to this pilgrimage place, but yet she trusted, she had faith in Baba. Then after a little while, Baba turned round again and asked her, "Is there anything else you want to ask?" My mother again started to think, and think very fast, as we would say. She remembered that there was a Parsi lady who was friends with her. She was a young woman, but not very young. She was going on to be 40. She was nearly 40 years old, and she had not married, and she had told my mother, confided to my mother, and she was rather worried about it, that she was not married as yet. All her younger brothers, sisters, they were all married, and she was not married. So she had told this to my mother. My mother had felt very bad for her. So when Baba asked my mother told Baba about this young woman who wanted to get married, and she was 40 and she has not married as yet. What to do about that? So Baba thought for a little while and then said, "All right, take her also to Udwara," means the pilgrimage place. My mother was a bit surprised also again, but she did not hesitate to question Baba. And she accepted Baba's word, and having faith in Baba, she said, "All right, Baba, as you say, I will take them to Udwara." And so my mother, when she came home after having Baba's darshan, she told us that we were going to Udwara, and of course we were very happy. We girls were very happy to go to Udwara because we hadn't been to another place for a long time and hadn't had a train journey. So I and my sister were quite happy, and so we also packed and we left Udwara. And after returning from Udwara, and when in Udwara, my sister even forgot that she was not feeling well, and she ate well, and she was quite happy, and she was feeling well, and when she returned from Udwara to Pune, she even forgot that she was ever ill or not feeling well, not feeling hungry, and there's anything the matter with her. She was feeling quite well and happy. So my mother was very happy about this, that it is Baba's word that she obeyed this. Then it so happened that this Parsi lady who had not married for so many years, even as a young girl, offer of marriage came to her even when she was 40. So then she got married, but my mother was very happy about it, and she knew it was obeying Baba's word that has come about. But this lady did not, my mother did not tell her about Baba, because in those days people did not know about Baba, and especially the Parsis, Zoroastrians were much against Baba. So my mother did not tell her, but my mother, having faith in Baba and obeyed Baba, so these two wishes of hers were granted. My mother had been to a new place, and she told us how nice it was, and that we would like it also, and that we should accompany her. And so I and my sister agreed, and we went with her to Sakori. Then when we reached Dhond, we had to change the train, and it was 9 o'clock, I think, and we boarded a second class compartment, and but before the train started, my mother was looking worried, because she didn't like to travel alone, or just be three women in the compartment, alone in the compartment. So she was thinking, oh, if there was some gentleman with us, she would feel brave to travel in the night, because it's risky to travel alone like this. And as she was thinking, just in 2 minutes, a European gentleman came along. He was in a military uniform. He was in military uniform, and he came towards my mother and asked her if he could board the same compartment. Is there enough place? Would she mind his occupying the same compartment? My mother was too glad about it. My mother was relieved, and she said yes, he may occupy the compartment. And so we traveled with this person in the compartment, and so my mother and sister, they kept awake all night talking to this person, who was a very nice person. But I was very sleepy, and so I turned over on the bench and went to sleep, and I didn't care how much they were talking, because I was very sleepy, and I slept all the time till the station came. When Chitli came, we got down, and this person helped us to carry the bedding and the trunk to the door, and hand it over to the coolie. So we got down, and we went to Sakori, which is rather far from the station. It has a tonga. We have to get a higher tonga and travel in a tonga. So we reached Sakori, and in the morning my mother told us, it was early hours of morning we reached Sakori, And then later, after we had breakfast, my mother told us to go and to the temple. There's a nice temple to go there. There are Brahmin ladies. They will show us around. So I and my sister, we both holding hands, we went to near the temple, and there was big, lovely arches, and we went in there. There was a courtyard, and we were at the entrance of the temple when, as we were crossing the courtyard, a Hindu girl, a very pretty young Hindu girl, came towards us and greeted us and said, "Where had we come from?" We said, "We are from Pune," and she was very happy. She says, "Come, I'll show you the little temple where Upasana Maharaj and Sai Baba's photos are worshipped." So we went in this very big room in which was a small stone temple. So when we entered this big room to go towards the temple, we were halfway in the middle of the room when we heard footsteps on the staircase. And this girl, knowing, says, "Oh, come out quick, come quick to the entrance, to the door of the temple. Meherbanji is coming." And we did not know about Baba. So anyway, we both, I and my sister, quickly came to the entrance of the temple and stood there, and we saw Baba. He had just come down from the staircase. That was, I think it was wooden staircase. That's why we heard the sound of his footsteps. But he had quickly come down, and he passed right in front of us. And so I could just see his side face. And Baba looked very beautiful. He was fair and fair skin, and lovely brown curls. That his hair was not long, but there were short curls all around his head, and he had a short shirt on like a kameez. It's called a peran, and loose white trousers. Looked at Baba. It was very beautiful, but Baba did not turn his face to look at us. He was looking straight ahead. And he walked very fast. So we just had a glimpse of Baba, but that is before even seeing Maharaj's photo or Sai Baba's photo or going near the temple. We first saw Baba. We had Baba's darshan very first. So at the temple of the masters where they were worshipped, we saw beloved Baba, our beloved God, near the entrance of the temple. So beautiful when I think of it now. Then after that, the young Brahmin girl, she took us to the temple, showed us around and other places. And then when we went to our rooms again, and it was time for Aarti. Aarti means Upasana Maharaja Aarti, which Baba had composed. And in this big temple, this big room where the temple is, this Aarti was said. And then we were given, after the Aarti, Prasad was given. And then we were told we can now go to Maharaja's hut. So all the men, Mandali, they walked first and went to Maharaja's hut and entered there, had darshan, and all were sitting around. And we women, all in a big group, we went. And we were seated around, and we were seated a bit near to Maharaj, and Maharaj turned around and asked us that what our names were. So I told Maharaj my name was Mehera. So Maharaj says, "Oh, but in our language we say Meera." Meera, was a great saint. She was a Meera was a real lover of Krishna, and late in life, later she was God realized. Then it happened that my sister told her name also, and by that time, then many other women all came and were seated around, and Maharaj was talking And as he was talking, then he looked through the window and he saw Baba approaching. He said, "Oh yes, Meherwan is coming, and I'm waiting for Meherwan, and I'm glad that he is coming." And so Baba, when before entering Maharaj's hut, Baba bowed down at the threshold, and bowing down very devotedly, Baba came towards Maharaj, bowing down. So that time also I saw Baba, very beautiful, and he was facing Maharaj, and Maharaj told Baba that, "Yes, I'm glad you have come, and you can wait. You wait under mango shade. I will come to you just now. I'll send these devotees home. Just now they have just come. I'll send them home, and then I will come to you. Wait under a mango tree." So Baba bowed again with hands joined, and bowing, Baba went out without turning his back, very slowly, and again bowed at Maharaj's doorstep at the threshold, and took pradakshina. Pradakshina is to go round the house of the devotee. And then Baba went and was seated under the mango shade. So when Maharaj told all the men mandali to quickly leave, and so all the men mandali left, and the women mandali then later had their darshan, and they all left. And as we were going out, as we came out of the hut, Maharaj's hut is built very primitive, in a primitive way, that is, it's all earthen bricks, and all the colors, all earth color, and thatched roof, and it's very simple. We came out of the hut, and we also had pradakshina, and when we came this side of the hut, facing the hut, we looked around to see where Baba was seated, and Baba was under a big mango tree shade. He looked so beautiful, all in white, and it was sitting in Indian fashion, and with one leg like this. And then we started to walk, and the gate was much further away from the hut. The hut was built in an orchard, mango orchard. Some trees were young, some were bigger trees. So we were walking on the pathway that was rather narrow. So we were few women. Women were many, but just one after another, we were all walking two together, four together. And as we were walking on the pathway, we turned around to see again, as much as we can see Baba. So we turned around again and again to see Baba, but we couldn't stand and watch for a long time, because we were not supposed to. We were told to leave, so we were walking on and turning around to see. And then when we turned around to see, when we reached the gate, we turned around to see Upasni Maharaj come out of the gate and look towards Baba, and he went quickly, walking fast towards Baba, and he was seated in front of Baba. So we still turned around to get another glimpse of Baba and Maharaj together. So that is the third time that I saw Baba in Sakori. This is the third time I saw. And then when we were in the hut with Maharaj, Baba came in the hut. That was the second time. This is the third time. And first time was near the temple, entrance of the temple. Now when we went home, we had our lunch and we had eaten. We were talking, and after a little while we heard a tonga coming, because our room was facing a dirt road, and where the tongas came and went, who had to leave for the station, the tongas came and waited there. So this tonga came and we wondered who is going in this tonga. And then in 2 minutes we heard sounds of talking. So we quickly came out of the room and watched to see Baba come quickly, very swiftly, and come towards the tonga. He climbed in the tonga swiftly and told the tonga. But as he was coming, and some Brahmin ladies and there were Parsi ladies all hurrying after Baba to have his darshan. So Baba was walking very fast and climbed the tonga and told the tonga wala, that is the driver of the tonga, to hurry up and to drive the horse quickly. But the Brahmin ladies and the Parsi ladies all were now very quickly want to take Baba's darshan. So they were touching Baba's feet. Some were putting their head on Baba's feet. Baba was stretching out his hand and saying, no, don't. But they did not listen. They just want to touch Baba's feet and have his darshan. And so the Parsi and the Brahmin ladies all having Baba's darshan. But there were many, and so only 2 by 2 could take darshan, or 1 by 1, because taking darshan you have to take 1 by 1. So by that time the tonga had started and it was taking speed, so the women were all running after the tonga to touch Baba's feet. Even to the very last they were still running that they could touch Baba's feet to have his darshan. And we, standing in the door, I and my sister had no idea that we should also go and have darshan. So I did not actually have darshan of Baba, that is touch his feet, but I saw Baba in Sakori. That is the 4th time that I saw Baba in Sakori, leaving Sakori. So that day was our first day in Sakori, and that day was Baba's last day in Sakori. And he did not ever come to Sakori when Upasni Maharaj was in his physical body. That was the last contact with Maharaj. That was Baba's last meeting with Maharaj in physical body, Maharaj's physical body, in Sakori. So that was our first day, and Baba was leaving Sakori, and we saw Baba that time. So we were just in time good time to see Baba in Sakori, and we saw him 4 times in Sakori. Baba's aunt was with us in Sakori, so she saw my sister, who was about 19 or 20, and so she talked to my mother and arranged for this match with my sister to be wedded to Adi's brother Rustam. And my mother also liked the match, so they asked Maharaj, and Maharaj agreed, and they went to Bombay, where Baba was in Manzil-e-Meem. And so my sister had Baba's darshan in Manzil-e-Meem. The wedding was to take place in Ahmednagar. So every preparations were made, and so when the wedding day was nearing, about say 4 days before the wedding, my mother came to Sakori to fetch me to be at the wedding, at my sister's wedding. But it so happened that before she arrived, 2 days before she arrived, my knee got had swelling on it, and all of a sudden, there was no reason. I had not knocked my knee against anything, nor did I fall down, anything. Just I had a swelling on it, and it was painful, and I did not know why this happened, because I never had accidents, because I used to ride horses or climb trees and jump here, and yet I never had accidents. So I was very surprised this happened. So when I went for Maharaj's darshan that day, Maharaj asked me, "What's happened to your knee? Why are you limping?" "No, why are you limping?" I said, "My knee is has swelling on it, and it is painful. So Maharaj said, oh, but then you should ferment it. Ask Durgamai, a Brahmin lady, she will give you the fermentation. And so the treatment was given me, but it did not get well quickly. By that time, my mother came to Sakori to fetch me. So she went to Maharaj and told Maharaj that she has come to take me to Nagar for her sister's wedding. So Maharaj said, but why do you want to take her to the wedding? Because her knee is so painful, she can hardly walk, and it's swelling on her knee, and she won't even be able to climb the train or any carriage. It would be very uncomfortable for her, and I don't think you should take her. She is quite happy here. Do you want to take her? He showed disinclination that my mother should take me from Sakori. So my mother saw that it was Maharaj did not want it, so she did not. So my mother acquiesced and said, all right, I won't take her to Nagar. And so my mother went to Nagar without me, and Baba was in Ahmednagar because Gulma had asked Baba to be in Ahmednagar at the time of wedding. And Baba had known that Freini, my sister, has a younger sister, and yet Baba never said that to bring me, because they had talked about it, but Baba also did not say that my mother should bring me to the wedding. Now it so happened, I have to tell you about this now, that an offer of marriage had come for me from the other side of the family, that is my father's side. They had come with a plan to get me engaged on my sister's wedding day. So they had come with engagement ring and clothes, with a beautiful sari and all that is needed for the engagement. But I was not there, so naturally they were a bit disappointed. And Baba, knowing all this, that is, Baba being all-knowing, he knew about all this. That's why he did not ask my mother to bring me to Nagar, and Maharaj also did not send me to Nagar, because it would have been very embarrassing for me. They have saved me from this embarrassment, because I would have said no, and yet in the beginning my mother wanted this match, because she thought if both her daughters would be married, then she would be free to come and stay with Baba to serve him in the ashram. So what happened was, after the wedding was over, and it was 8 days now, and all the guests had left, and after 8 days there is another little ritual that they do, after the marriage. So my mother, my sister, they were with Baba, and of course the others were with Baba. Baba's mother was there, and Gulmaya was there, and they were talking, and the subject came up, and so Baba told my mother, why don't you bring Mehera to Nagar? Mother said, but how can I? Maharaj won't let her come. When I asked him even for the wedding, for her to bring her for the wedding, he showed his disinclination. So how can I go against his word and bring Mehera? So I don't know what to do. So Baba said, all right, do this. When you go to Sakori, tell Maharaj that she's your daughter. That is, you must say that she's my daughter, means my mother's daughter. And say that to Maharaj and bring Mehera to Nagar. And so my mother was a bit so my mother looked hesitant, that how can she say that to Upasni Maharaj? But she saw that Baba meant what he was saying, and Baba wanted that way, and Baba is like Baba's order. So she said, wanted to obey Baba. So she said, yes, Baba, I will say that to Maharaj, and I'll bring Mehera. And so she came to Sakori, and then when she went for Maharaj's darshan, Maharaj asked her, what has she come for? What is the news? And like that, they talked that way to bring up the subject. So my mother said that she has come to take me to Nagar. So Maharaj said, oh yes, why not take her to Nagar? Never mind. So my mother was so glad that she did not have to say what she would have felt embarrassed to say. So, but Baba, knowing that my mother would not have the need to say that, but Baba tested my mother to see if she would agree to what he said to her. So my mother brought me to Nagar, and we went Nagar. But by that time, Baba had moved to Meherabad. From Nagar to Meherabad, Baba went. And that's the first time that Baba saw Meherabad and was in Meherabad. And he was staying for a few days in Meherabad. But I came with my mother to Nagar, and we were there for one day. Of course, very first day they all put on the beautiful clothes that was waiting for that they had all made ready for me, the clothes that I had to wear for my sister's wedding, all the nice saris and everything. Then we went to the fire temple. And the next day, Baba sent word to say that Baba's mother, Gulmai, Daulatmai, who is my mother, my sister Freini, Baba's aunt, and myself, we 6 were to come for Baba's darshan, Baba said. So that was my first time Baba's darshan, that I took Baba's darshan in Meherabad. It was. We came to Meherabad, and Baba was on the other side of the road, and he saw that our car has come. So he quickly, he was working with the mandali. There was an old house that was being repaired, so Baba was also helping to whitewash the house and all. Baba also would work together. So Baba had washed his hands quickly and came quickly, walking very swift and fast. He looked very lovely like that, and he came in this big room where we were waiting outside, and then he told us to all come inside. And when we all came in, we had and all the elders had Baba's darshan, and I was last to have Baba's darshan, and I saw Baba so beautiful like this. I was that feeling I can't express, of course. But I went and sat by my sister's side, and then the subject came up, of course, about this engagement, which was now important question to be settled. So Baba brought up the subject and said, what is it, have their guests left and what? And so Baba's mother said that only the boy's aunt is here, and she's very eager on this engagement. They're very keen on it, and it would be very nice if this match came off, because then both the families will be united. And my mother was also agreed, for this match and all that. And they were talking to Baba, discussing and all that, and some was saying something. My sister did not like the match very much, so she was saying something. The others also were kind of arguing, so back and forth, and Baba was also telling them what they should do and all that. But after discussing a little bit, then Baba said, but wait, let us ask Mehera what's her wish. It is important to ask her. She's supposed to be asked. So they all turned round to look at me, and here I felt very shy, because they all were turning around to look at me. So I was asked what my wish was. So I said, I told Baba that I did not want to get married. And so Baba said, see, you've got your answer. Now, don't bring up this subject anymore. She does not want to marry, and so don't discuss about it, and don't persuade her against her wishes. And so drop the subject and don't discuss it anymore. And of course I was quite happy the thing was settled to my liking. We were staying in Ahmednagar. For a short time, Baba had told us to stay there. So whenever Baba came to Meherabad, he would send word and that he had come. So we all girls would be very happy and excited that we will be going for Baba's darshan. So my mother, myself, and Khurshid and Dolly, we would go to Baba. Gulma would go separate. And so Baba talking with us one day, Baba said, if you want to stay in my ashram, you can't stay like that. And so we're wondering why Baba not. So Baba said, you have to tie your hair with a white cheesecloth, very white cotton kerchief or a scarf, and not a hair should be seen. If you obey those orders, only then you can stay. We said, Baba, we'll tie our hair and whatever you want us to do, we'll do, but let us stay in the ashram, Baba. We want to serve you and serve you. So Baba said, all right, when I call you, all come. So Baba, that time he went back to Bombay and other places. He used to travel much that time. And then when next time he came, he had given us some duty to do when we were in Ahmednagar, we girls. I and Khurshid and Dolly used to be together, and my mother. So Baba had told us to write God's name for 1 hour. Yazdan, Yazdan. And Baba had said we should write it in very fine letters. So we were so happy about it that we're going to do something for Baba. Baba's told us, and so we are going to obey Baba. And Baba had also told us to meditate on in the way that take any photo we want, Zoroaster's photo or his photo, any photo we want, and we can meditate. So we were also trained that way. Baba said, never mind, if your mind wanders, then again try and bring it back and think and meditate on the photo. So that was for half an hour, taking God's name all the time. We would be meditating for half an hour, and 1 hour we would write Yazdan, Yazdan. So each one we would be in a separate corner in the big room, and we quietly would be writing God's name. Each one had a writing pad. And then when next time we went to Baba, we told Baba that we were doing what he told us to do. So Baba said yes. Now he wanted to distribute shirts to the poor. So he said we should sew the shirts, stitch the shirts, and he told my mother she should buy enough material for many villagers to whom he wants to distribute these shirts. My mother went to the bazaar and bought stacks of material, and she would be seated in the middle of the room with on a big carpet, and she would cut out small shirts for small children and a size bigger for bigger, and so on, and for the grown-ups. So then we had 3 sewing machines in 3 corners of the room, and we would start sewing because we wanted to sew fast, that we could sew more shirts, but of course I was not a very fast in sewing, so I would always be left behind, and I would try to race the others, and so we got many shirts done. And when next time Baba came, he would ask us how many the shirts were. So we said about 25, Baba. Baba said, only 25, I want more. You must try and do more because I want to give to more people. So when, after talking to Baba, other things, Baba would talk to my mother and Gulmai, and then he would talk to us also. And then when we returned home, we would feel very happy that we're going to sew more shirts, and Baba wants more shirts. And so we would try and do our best to hurry up with the shirts. So next time when Baba came, he asked us how many we had done. So we said, oh Baba, it's 90. So Baba said, oh, only 90, I want more. And here we were then. So this thing that when we got home, we tried to now sew faster and faster, because when next time Baba comes, we must have enough shirts, amount of shirts that he would want. And so we stitched as fast as we could, and we did the button and everything ourselves. We did not buy buttons from the bazaar. They have to be done with hand, those shirts. They are called parents, and they have different kind of buttons made of little bits of material. So when next time Baba came, then Baba asked us, and we said, oh, we have more than 150. Baba said, yes, that is a very good number. And so Baba told my mother the next day she should come. So Baba told my mother that tomorrow when she will come to Meherabad, she should bring Prasad with the shirts. So my mother went to the bazaar to buy sacks full of puff rice, baked peanuts and baked peas. And this is what the villagers love, and it is very easy to hand out because it is not greasy. And so we went to Meherabad, we girls and my mother and Tonga, and Baba, when we reached there, Baba was playing the drum and singing bhajans, that is Marathi songs, praises of God. And Baba then gestured to us to say, sit for a little while, just wait for a little while here, and I'll just finish the song. And then Baba singing so beautifully, we heard Baba sing praises of God, and he taught the children, the villagers were all gathered round Baba. Many women and men and children were there, and Baba was singing, and they were repeating after Baba. It was a very beautiful sight. After he finished the song, then Baba got up and came towards us, and we all stood up, and he said, have you brought the shirts and the prasad? My mother showed him the sacks and all that. All these had to be brought in a bullock cart. So there was plenty full of prasad, three sacks full of huge gunny sacks of prasad, and big bundles of shirts. So we all untied the shirts, and Baba was seated on his carpet, and he looked at them, and he liked how they were stitched and all that. He showed his appreciation, and then Baba then called each little child to come and to receive the prasad and the shirt. So Baba gave each one shirts, and the children were so happy to receive these new shirts, and Baba gave them prasad, 2 handfuls of prasad in their laps, and when the after the little children were given, then the older children were given shirts and prasad, and they were so happy their faces looked so happy. And then Baba gave the elder people there Prasad, and they were all very happy to receive it from Baba. And of course Baba had his reason, because it is nice to receive something touched by him. And so they went home very happy, all smiling, and children laughing and shouting Baba's Jai, and some of them singing the songs that Baba had taught them. So it was very beautiful to see them and to hear them and see that they all were returning home happy. And Baba was also smiling very happily, and he was very happy, and turned round to my mother to say that he is really happy that he was able to give prasad to some of the poor of the village as well as all the other villages. And then Baba said, then now after next time means after a few days, Baba will call us to stay in the ashram. When next time Baba came, he sent word to say that we told my mother that we all could come to stay in the ashram. And of course we were also happy and excited. We got our trunks and bedding all ready, and we came to Meherabad, and we stayed with Baba in the ashram. We were 5 of us when we first came to stay with Baba in the ashram. My mother, Naja, Khorshid, there was another Khorshid, and myself. We were in a very nice big room, and there was a very big veranda outside, a very, very large veranda. And on that veranda, Baba used to stay with the 4 mandali. Yes,